His house just steps from campus. In the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, were stabbed to death. Their accused killer, Bryan Kohberger, faces trial this summer. He's pleaded not guilty. For the last 2.5 years, Dateline has been on the ground, reporting, gathering, and learning from people with direct knowledge of the case.
Four young college students, full of life and promise, were brutally murdered in a small, quiet town in Idaho. The world was shocked, the community was shattered, and the person accused of this crime, Bryan Kohberger, a criminology student who seemed to know everything about crime, yet found himself at the center of one of the most chilling investigations in recent years. This case has captured the nation. People are waiting for answers. The trial is scheduled to begin in August 2025, but the story behind the case is complicated, mysterious, and heartbreaking. Here's what happened, who's involved, and why this case is one you won't forget anytime soon. On the night of November 13, 2022, something unimaginable happened in the college town of Moscow, Idaho. 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, were found murdered in an off-campus rental house. They were just 20 and 21 years old, full of hope and bright futures. The news hit like a bombshell. What made it worse was the brutality and the mystery. There was no sign of forced entry. The students were killed in what police described as a targeted and frenzied attack. A K-bar style knife was believed to be the murder weapon, but it was not recovered at the scene. Despite an intensive investigation, no clear motive emerged in the early days. For the people of Moscow, it felt like a nightmare. Parents kept their children close. Students questioned their safety. The entire town fell into fear and silence. The investigation began immediately, but weeks passed with no suspects, no arrests, and no major public breakthrough. The community was desperate for justice. The media amplified the pressure. The world was watching. Then, on November 30th, 2022, everything changed. Bryan Kohberger, a 28-year-old Ph.D. student at Washington State University, just 8 miles away in Pullman, Washington, was arrested and charged with the murders. The news stunned the public. Kohberger wasn't a stranger passing through. He was a criminology student who studied criminal behavior and justice systems. The contrast was chilling. Could someone so academically focused on crime actually commit one? Police announced that DNA evidence was crucial in identifying Kohberger. A knife sheath was recovered near one of the victims, and a single male DNA profile on the sheath snap matched Kohberger's. Surveillance footage captured a white Hyundai Elantra, matching the vehicle Kohberger drove, near the home on the night of the murders. Cell phone data also placed him near the area multiple times before and around the time of the killings. Suddenly, a disturbing picture began to take shape. There are several reasons this case has drawn intense public interest. First, the victims, young college students with bright futures, each one beloved by friends, family, and their community. Second, the suspect. Kohberger's academic background in criminology raised unsettling questions. Did he use his knowledge to plan a crime, or was the evidence misinterpreted? Third, the mystery. To this day, the motive remains unclear. Authorities haven't confirmed any personal connection between Kohberger and the victims. That lack of clarity continues to grip public attention. When Kohberger was arrested, many expected a swift trial, but justice is rarely quick in complex cases. Kohberger has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
The man charged with murdering 4 University of Ohio students in November appears in court today.
Now, the judge entering a not guilty plea for Bryan Kohberger. The 28-year-old is accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in their off-campus home. Now, today, his attorney said Kohberger would be standing in silence, leading to the judge entering the plea. Now, each first-degree murder charge carries a penalty of either life in prison or the death penalty. The state now has 60 days to give notice as whether or not they will seek the death penalty in this case. Trial has been set for October and is expected.
His defense has raised questions about the integrity of the evidence, particularly the DNA match, and the investigative process used to identify him. Prosecutors have announced they will pursue the death penalty. That decision means the trial will be especially scrutinized and emotionally charged. Since Kohberger's arrest, every new court filing has been analyzed by legal experts, journalists, and true crime followers. The case has been covered extensively in the media and debated across social platforms. The trial is scheduled to begin in August 2025 after extensive pretrial proceedings. These include motions over evidence admissibility, constitutional challenges, and procedural matters. For the victim's family and the public, the wait has been painful, but necessary for a fair legal process. During this trial, the prosecution will present forensic evidence, surveillance footage, digital records, and witness testimony. The defense will likely challenge the reliability of the evidence and argue for reasonable doubt. The courtroom will become the stage for high-stakes legal battle. Beyond the legal drama, this case touches deeper themes. How do we understand violence in small, tight-knit communities? Can someone study crime without being drawn towards it? What is the role of mental health, social isolation, and academic pressure? There is still no confirmed link between Kohberger and the victims, no obvious motive like jealousy or financial gain. The killings were personal and violent, but their purpose remains a mystery. The idea that the accused was a student of criminology only adds a haunting twist. This reminds us that behind every headline are real people, victims whose lives were stolen, families shattered by grief, and communities left searching for peace. It also reminds us of the importance of due process. No matter how overwhelming the evidence seems, the accused has a right to a fair trial. The trial will likely reveal more than just the legal arguments. It may finally bring answers to the questions so many have asked for nearly 3 years. As we await the trial, remember the victims: Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan. Remember their families who continue to live with unimaginable loss. And remember that justice, while slow, is meant to be thorough for the victims, the accused, and the truth. If you're interested in updates, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll be bringing you clear, honest coverage every step of the way. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay curious, and remember, justice takes time, but it's worth waiting for.